Hello and welcome to another Scrap Saturday. We are using the same box of scraps and making something else this week. This week is an easy tutorial. This one, you just need a square of paper. It doesn't matter what size your square is. The one I'm using here is 8 by 8 because that's how big the width of my paper happened to be. So this is a printed paper from Sue's Fish. I mentioned last week that I have a ton of her stuff in my scrap box because it's all printed out and ready to go, and I just need to remember to use it. So once you've got your 8 by 8 piece of paper or whatever square you're using, you need to fold it corner to corner like I'm showing you here, so diagonally across, and then just score the bottom. Then you're going to take that top point and fold it back down to match the line at the bottom that you just scored, and then go across that one with your scoring tool as well. You're going to take this left-hand side, although I guess you could start with the right if you wanted to. Take this corner and match it along that score line that we just made by folding the top corner down. So you can see here how I'm doing that. I did slow this down a little bit for you, so hopefully that helps. And then the right-hand side, exactly the same. Folding that over towards the left and matching it with that line at the top there. Then you're just folding your piece back down after you have glued these into place. I used some tape and some wet glue for this. You could use any adhesive that you've got on hand. I did the sensible way this side. I decided to actually use the tape in the centre to hold it so that the wet glue had time to dry. And then folded that one in. Then we're taking that top piece down to cover those up. I like mine to sort of curve a bit, like I've just shown you there. So I'm going to actually use some foam tape to stick this down, but you could use your just normal adhesive and it would stick down flat. So I'm just popping a couple of foam squares sort of, I don't know, a quarter of the way down that piece, sticking that down, and it gives you that sort of 3D effect that I was looking for. I forgot to round my corners before I stuck it down, but I would definitely recommend you do this ahead of time. So maybe I'll add a little note to remind you to round your corners before you stick anything down. I wanted to use up some more of the paper and it looked a bit plain with the white, so I decided to add this really pretty stripe. I want to add a piece on the front triangle here. I just used a pencil, measured the two edges, you can see me doing that here, and then cut this on my cutting board. The all-in-one board does have like a special attachment that helps you cut angles and things, but I didn't have mine next to me, so I thought I'd just use a pencil and do it that way. That fits perfectly on there. And then I just cut a chunk of this paper that I thought was about the right width. I do end up having the pattern go straight. That wasn't on purpose. That's just how it happened to end up. But I've cut this chunk here and then it just made those edges tapered so it will fit inside the envelope. It's still a bit too wide, so I'm going to go ahead and cut some more off. You definitely could line this beforehand, or you could use a double-sided paper if you want to skip this step, but I just wanted to use up as much of the paper as I could, and these match perfectly. You could also turn this into a shaker, that would be really pretty. Have a little shaker pocket at the back there. And this one doesn't require any stitching, which I thought was great for those of you without a machine, or like me that can't be bothered to get it out and rethread it all. So I'm just sticking that down with some double-sided tape. This tape runner, I wasn't sure about it when I first got it if I'd use it, and actually I use it all of the time. So if you're interested in the link for that, do let me know and I'll pop it in the description for you. I did have a code once upon a time, so I can have a look for that as well if that would be helpful to you. Adding some tape onto my little triangle piece and some glue in the edges, and then popping that onto the front. In amongst all of my scrap papers, I have a ton of the printable icons from Sue's Fish. So I grabbed those out when I grabbed these papers. I'll show you those in a second. There we go. And so I'm just going to cut a bunch of those out. The first one I saw was this 3x4 card. It says 3 good things. There we go, 3 good things. And I just really liked it and I wanted to use it up. So I've cut that one out, popped it inside the pocket, and there's something missing. I wasn't sure what it was, but I decided it needed another piece and I didn't have another 3x4 card. So I'm just going to cut myself one out of this really pretty blue, is it like a check print? going to say plaid, but it's not plaid, is it? I think it's check. With the hearts on top. I didn't like them next to each other. I stuck them on top and I thought that looked much better, so that's what we're sticking with. Then I went ahead and just cut out a bunch of different things from the printables, and I ended up with this gorgeous girl who is journaling, which is so perfect for that 3 good things card. And then this little tab that I thought looked sweet on the corner there. The little yellow label just happened to be next to her on the sheet and it worked really well, so that was great. Grab these Rosie Studio chipboard stickers. These have been on my desk for like the whole month. I'm really trying to use their new collection up. This one is the Jubilee, and I love working with their stuff, so it's easy to have this one out to grab. And then I've got some foam tape on the little girl with the journal. I do pop it in the wrong spot, but we correct that momentarily. So we've gone for the Hello There chipboard, which just matched so perfectly, that blue. It was the first one I spotted and I thought, yes, great. So that's gone on there. Adding our girl. And I'm just sort of overlapping her. I don't want her to cover up the heart on the yellow label. So just overlapping her ever so slightly. And then some more foam tape behind her head as well. I felt like she needed something there. Then I'm having a look at this journal card. So I'm just going to stick this down in the centre. I'm using my favourite little glue tool, but actually I do swap to just the bottle because this has a thicker tip. And I wanted to add some more glue to this. I thought I'd added it in the right spot for the tab, but I was wrong. So we have to go back and correct that. Not a problem, we can just add some more. There we go, that's the little tool that I love so much. And then popping that down. And then we just stick that straight back into the pocket. I should have added a little tiny word sticker on the left there. That was a missed opportunity. Rosie Studio have some beautiful ones that I could pop in there. If you are interested in this Jubilee collection, I did have a 10% off code. I will have a look and see if it's still active for you. So if you're interested in that, do leave me a comment and I will go ahead and ask if I can give you that still. This Best Day chipboard and those little hexagons were also on that same Jubilee collection. Using some foam tape for this little speech bubble. I couldn't believe how seamlessly these two collections work together. So if you do have all of the Sue's Fish goodies and you love that colour scheme, definitely consider the Jubilee collection from Rosie Studio. These little enamel dots, I'm not sure what collection these are from. They might be Violet Studio from the range. And they did not want to be on the project. They were falling all over the place. They wouldn't come off the sheet. But eventually I got some of the really pretty colours on there, so the blue and the yellow. And then also these gems didn't want to play ball either, so I've got these iridescent ones. I'm really trying to use up the final few on some of the sheets. Again with these pink ones. I thought I could use 3, but I became indecisive as usual and started moving the ones on the bottom left here to change them for something else. I wasn't sure what, but I didn't like the pink being there. So I moved those around. I end up with the pink one, actually, and I take off the iridescent. But these puffy stickers, the little dots on the puffy words, were again the perfect shades. So I've grabbed a few of those, added one to each little cluster. There we go, 1, 2, 3. And then I wanted to add something in that top right corner. I thought about a little charm dangle with some beads, but I wanted to keep this flat because it would be really great for flat mail. So I had a look through my little odds and ends drawer, came across these tickets. I thought they would be perfect to pop into the pocket, and I grabbed some paper clips. So the one with the little heart is what I thought I was going to use. But then I tried this star, so you can either have it with the star showing or the moon showing. I did try both ways, and I just thought the star was so whimsical and lovely, and it matched the style of this perfectly. So we stick with the star. There we go, like so. And then we do add a strip of these tickets. I cut them in half. In fact, if I make another one of these, I might have to use the other half. Also, I'm thinking about doing some giveaways with the Scrap Saturday projects. Obviously, it's to use up my scraps and things, but then I don't want to hang on to the project. So if you'd be interested in winning this one, do leave me a comment and I will do a little raffle or something. So there we are, all finished. I know that this one could fit so many more goodies, so maybe we can make some more next week, but also it does hold itself nice and flat if you wanted to send it in just a regular envelope. Hope you have enjoyed hanging out and crafting with me, and I will be back again next week. See you then. Bye!